Oh, whoops. Oh, I dropped my monster condom that I use for my Magnum Dong.
I don't know what's kosher here. I'm not gonna lie to you, because generally the policy is when things are leaked, and I mean actually leaked, the policy is usually like you're not supposed to, like, you know, cut video on that and stuff like that. I don't think I'm gonna show, especially the gameplay. I don't want to show that for a few reasons, but I also am a little skeptical that this is actually a real leak at all. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, bruh. So I gotta be honest with you. If you really, at first I was like, oh man, they did it again, leaked again. What is it with these guys, man? They just can't seem to get it straight. What is it? But then it's like, same day after the initial announcement, and then you look at the results too, you know, especially with the way like social media and viral marketing works now. You got to think about it, man. I mean, here, I'm just gonna put it this way: regardless of whether it's good or bad, right? Because there's a lot of weirdos. They're like, man, Cammy's got pants now. Like, wow, you know, they SJWs, they make Cammy put pants on. They can't stand it. They can't. But then look, and that was like last night when it was all over. When you really think about it, like, it's a pretty good OS for them. If this whole thing was just like, you know what? Oops, we dropped the concept art for the cast. It's like, well, it kind of worked. And I'm going to be honest with you, personally for me, it worked too. Because I cannot say 3 days ago I was super interested in Street Fighter 6. This to me was like the red flag, the real red flag. Of all the times that stuff has leaked with this company, I cannot think of a time where the company made an official comment on the leak. I saw this, I was like, hold up, man, that's a little too convenient. You know what I mean? I'm like, but to be fair, this is me directly telling whoever's idea this was, if this was indeed intentional, straight, you deserve a raise. Good shit, because to be honest with you, you got me, man. You got me. I'm at least interested now, and I'll say that. I'm at least interested now, and I think I think that goes for a lot of people too. They're in a position now where they can look at reception of some things and be like, okay, this what people like seem to really like this, right? People don't really seem to vibe with this. Hell, let's change it a little bit, see how it goes. And it's like, it's not like really a lot of risk involved, you know? I guess we can start from here, right? They made a really, really big post on PlayStation blog about this to introduce it after the State of Play. This, I think, was something that a lot of people were surprised by, is this kind of like open world aspect of it. Cue the F Champ open world video, please.
It's like an open world fighting game.
If this is their answer to like a world tour mode or something like that, I think this has potential to be really interesting. What I'm seeing with this, I feel like this game, especially with the way that they presented it this time, I wish they would have showed these videos. I wish what we got this past weekend, they would have just done the first time. You know, like just show all this stuff. This would have been a lot better received, I think. This has kind of piqued my interest, not because I don't really think I get a lot out of single-player content in fighting games now, but I think that there are still a lot of people who do. And I think something like this, where we've been talking about this for a long time, especially like on this channel, single-player content, I really value. Not for me personally, but for the culture of the game. I think it's important for giving normal people or more people some kind of gameplay experience with the game that is not just like get on ranked, wait in a match slot, wait in a lobby for 20 minutes, get a match, this dude quits in the middle of it and then dip, you know? Having something like this is really cool, and I don't know. For me, I can remember a time before netplay was even a thing. I've said this before in multiple videos, is Alpha 3 World Tour mode for me was like, this is godlike. I just think this is so fun. So now when I see something like this and this kind of approach to it, I'm thinking like, is this a creative character and you get to go into the like world, and what if they have like, if it's World Tour where there's little challenges in different places, and you maybe for this one it's 2v2 or something like that, and you have to queue up with somebody, you have to co-op with them or something like that. You guys are connected by voice chat. You know, you do the super and I'll jump in, you know, that kind of shit. You have to work with other people to win challenges and stuff. It's updated weekly. There's all kinds of stuff they could do with this shit. I don't think they'll necessarily go that ham on it, but it's interesting to think about. So here's Luke, everybody's favorite Paul brother, I guess. They go into detail on this website too about the drive system, right? So What's cool about it is that I think about like Street Fighter 4, right? Where Super Meter, which you use for EXs, FADCs, and Supers, is a separate gauge from your Ultra Meter, which is effectively in that game your Super. This game, with the way that they went about the system, I have no idea how this is going to work, is this drive stuff, right? Where every character, they get a drive bar, and certain mechanics and actions consume that. But they put in a lot of mechanics in this game. Like from day one, frame one, they have something. It feels like there's a little bit of everything, you know? There's a little bit of Third Strike, a little bit of SF4, a little bit of SF5 mixed in. To the point where, like, damn, there's actually, you know, a good bit of mechanics here to where I don't know how it's all going to mesh up together, you know? But that's also kind of exciting about it. But the fact that they separated it like that is interesting, because it's like the opposite of SF4. So now it's like your Super is your Super, and that's its own bar. But then Drive System is like when you get EXs. That's interesting because EXs are going to consume that drive gauge, right? That means everybody round start, they're going to start being able to just with EXs right off the bat. You're starting with meter. They haven't done that for a game in a long time. This was always a complaint I had about Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 was, well, 5 up until this past year. I didn't like that they were scared to add mechanics to the game. You know, like Red Focus doesn't really count to me. You know, like it's a new mechanic, kind of, not really. But when they added like V-Shift and stuff to SF5, I thought that was really cool because they hadn't done that for a Street Fighter game in a long time. So being able to see like a vanilla build with all this, like this is a lot. Yeah, this was the other thing everybody was talking about too. Modern control type for everybody. This was so smart. I talked about it already. The fact that they didn't call it simple, easy, or anything like that. They're saying, you know what? Modern. We know. Listen, Zoomers, we know you guys are stupid as fuck. We've been reading all these stupid ass tweets that you guys have to say about Smash Brothers doing motion inputs and all this other shit. We know you guys are dumb as fuck. We don't have to put it in your face. We know you're lazy as fuck. We don't have to keep up. You know what? Modern. The naming convention is perfect because now they like it. It's not inflammatory. Dummies don't like to be told they're dummies. You know what I mean? The Chad modern player. I'm gonna be doing it. Fuck you, man. Use training mode once. Labbing. I'm not a scientist. Yep, that's the approach I'm taking too, man. But that's enough of this this nerd shit. Let's watch some shit. This was the actual reveal trailer. Damn, look at the algorithm feeding Max. You see this shit? This is the official video, by the way. So right now, it's got all these kind of throwbacks to different Final Fight, Street Fighter characters and Capcom franchises and shit like that, right? It's like the Rival Schools teacher and everything like that. The questions that I have with this game now are like, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna push it? Is this gonna be $59.99, $69.99? Buy the game and go play it? Is it gonna be? Are they gonna do F2P? And is it gonna be like Battle Pass system? I don't know what I really don't know. I think that they might try to go with something a little bit in the middle just because they had so much success when they did free-to-play with Street Fighter V whenever they did it. And I think that they can't ignore that. What I think about when I see all this shit, how and where are they going to put ads in here? Look at this shit. Every billboard is a potential ad space. When I watched this the first time, I couldn't help but watch the dudes in the background. This dude throws punches like Bobby does. It makes me a little concerned. You know, that's something that too with watching this was like looking at some of the animations. I get Street Fighter V vibes where I look at some things and I think like, man, this looks really good. And then I look at this thing and I'm like, they're in the same game. This thing looks really good. This thing looks really weird. Why is this like this? Watch this dude.
Like a game.
Punches like Bobby. Look at
this journey doesn't have a real ending.
So all this shit, I'm thinking if this is like some kind of open world take on World Tour mode, I think something like this has the potential to be really fun. It's interesting. That's really bad looking. That's I don't know about that. So the NPC is a character. So that makes me think like there might be like some custom created character type shit. I don't know how I feel about that. I like this part when she kicks her on the head. But all this stuff, like the cinematics and stuff, I mean, it looks good. The graphic fidelity is really strong. And this is probably a hot take. I hate that expression, by the way. I don't have takes. I have opinions. I hate when people are like, nice take, bro. I think most people don't like this. But there's something coming up that I really like. I'll get to it. First of all, I said this earlier. I thought he looked stupid as hell, but the Shundi, the Lei vibes, I'm about it. I'm about it. I like it. That's the first time there's been like a Street Fighter character kind of like that. The background characters, I think, could use a little bit sharpening. Here they kind of tease this like 2v2. It could be 2v2, right? It might be 1v1, but that's why I was saying I think that's a really interesting idea. If they're able to somehow make like an open world scenario where I could run around in that world with other people and we do like challenges together, force us to work together and stuff like that, I think that could be really like funny, you know? We still have to see the gameplay, I think, or like know more about it, see it in motion, I guess what I'm trying to say. But I like that at minimum, the least you could say is that they made this game and they're like, you know what? From jump, frame one, we have to have something in the game for people to do that is not reliant on them going on netplay and grinding. Because for a lot of people, there needs to be some kind of lead into that. It's not necessarily about like you or me, we're like an intermediate person like hopping into that. You know, like we have some kind of vague idea like, yeah, I just want to get on and grind, I'm gonna learn my combos, you know, learn how to use these mechanics, then grind, right? This is something that I've really come around to the past few years too, is like, when you talk about games and their communities and their ecosystems around them, a lot of it has to do with being able to build a community around the game, even at low levels where it's somebody jumping in with zero idea, and we're not even talking about beginners. We're talking about like pre-beginner, like level 0. Somebody that jumps in and there is some kind of platform for them to even get to the beginner level, you know? And it's like when you think about what SF5 had when it released, it just did not have that. And as a result, I can't help but feel like there's a bit of a missed opportunity there, even if it's not super, you know, you get what I'm trying to say. I like that that's a change that they made. You know, they caught heat for that back then. It feels like they took it to heart, at least, you know. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I look at in this trailer and I'm like, this looks really good, this looks really weird. You know, there's a lot of fidelity touch-ups that I think that they still have time to do. And I really hope they do those too. Especially because, like, looking at this like, some of the animations, you know, look kind of wonky. In this engine? Yeah, so they showed this on the website from before, but Chun-Li, they actually made this a real stance now too. So maybe she has like a unique moveset coming out of this. See, Jamie, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought he looked dumb as hell at first, but watching him in motion, he actually looks kind of clean. I think he actually looks pretty cool. This is what I wanted to talk about. A lot of people, I don't think, like this shit. I personally like it a lot. I like color. And one problem that I have with a lot of modern games is the colors are very drowned out. They're faded. Colors don't feel special. I like seeing something like it's appealing to me, that's all. And something like this that stands out really strong against the background, for as like low level and just like 4th grader as it is, you know, like fuck it, just throw some paint on that shit. I like that. It's a not a bad looking effect. This super looks really stupid, but it looks really funny. I like it. Yeah, you know, like in a lot of circles that I hang out in, a lot of people were talking shit, but to be honest with you, most of what I saw here, I was actually kind of, what's the word? Intrigued. At minimum, I'm like, you know, like a cat, you know, like my curiosity is piqued now. I'm like, okay, a major Street Fighter release like this, especially with the way that the kind of in the space that the games are in now, it's more so, I think, about being aware of what all the major players are doing, what they're experimenting with, or what they're trying, you know? So at minimum, even if I don't play something, I'm at least like peeping it, you know? NRS shit, I can't tell you Injustice 1, the last NRS game I played, but you better believe every time a new NRS game drops, I'm watching the story mode, I'm looking at what the towers are like. That to me is just kind of like how you just kind of keep your eyes open and keep your head on a swivel, if that makes sense. This, even if I wasn't interested in it, would be worth like paying attention to, you know? Just to show you kind of where the company's head's at. But to be honest with you, I feel like, yeah, my interest kind of, you know, I'm kind of interested in this. If this is how the, like, netplay lobby looks if this is the new CFN, I really want to see what they got in here, man, because it looks like there's a lot of really cool shit they could do. I think it just comes down to execution. And then, of course, they dropped this one. This was the commentary trailer. So at first they show Vicious, right? Congrats to him, man. It's pretty cool. I'll tell you what it reminds me. It reminds me of Bobito Garcia. NBA Street Volume 2, Volume 3. That's what this shit reminds me of.
Oh yeah, you know I'm ready.
I was in Spooky Stream a little while ago, and he was talking about this. Imagine how this is going to feel for Vicious when he boots up the game, and he is the in-game commentator for his own match, and his in-game commentary is roasting how poorly he's playing. Like, you know, like how different that'll feel? Perfect parry into that? Okay, cool. I like that. I like that it's not like SF5 where it's just like one parry or whatever, right? The fact that they put two different kinds in, if I'm understanding this correctly, I like that. There's something technical about it. The other thing too is, I told you I don't like the way this character looks, but the way he moves and animates, I like a lot. But to be fair, that's usually how these kinds of characters are. Lei, Shun-Di, they're easily the most, like, watch Lei in drunk stance. He's just fun to look at. Even just like moving around, just idle, they're usually the most fun kind of characters to look at and watch in motion. You know what I mean? In motion, he looks pretty cool. Wow, they deleted Abel. They copy-pasted Abel, made him a girl, got, like, we just want waifu Abel, then took his stupid-ass super that everybody was getting clapped with, and they gave it to this motherfucker. They gave it to... Abel just got straight up reappropriated into other I almost said other cultures. Goddamn. Drop Aru in there. He think me my show. All right, I told you. I watched this and I'm like, certain things look really good. Certain things I'm like, I need to work on this a little bit more. Chun-Li, she needs some touch-ups here and there. I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. This Tatsu, watch this shit again, bro. He's looking stiff. You know what this is? You know what I saw and this reminded me of? Straight up. I'm sorry, not sorry. That straight up, it reminded me of this. This is Takeshi is in the animation studio. His boss is over his shoulder. He's like, yo, we gotta ship this shit in 30 minutes, kid. Pack it up. And he's, hi, Simasen. You know, and he's, fuck it, just rotate that shit. Just rotate that. He has like one keyframe of animation. He's like, fuck it, just rotate it. Just rotate it. There's some other kind of like awkward ones too, but hopefully that's stuff that they still have time to like touch up. Like, yeah, like look at Chun's leg when she hits this attack. She goes in the, watch specifically the right leg. She goes into like ragdoll physics. It's funny to look at. Yeah, like some of her animations, even like the up kicks, right? Like it still kind of looks like they did what they just did with Ryutatsu. It looks like they did the same thing to her, just on an axis. You know what I mean? Just like, yo, fuck it, just rotate her, man. It's just like little things that look weird, but I think that's stuff that they can change, hopefully. If they improve some of that stuff, or just like do, you know, like, you know, some little touch-ups here. While I'm not a fan of the overall aesthetic, I think it's at minimum, it's interesting, you know? I'm not a fan of the aesthetic, but at least if it animates well in motion, yeah, like Jamie is a good example. Yeah, that's I guess what I'm saying is like it's the overall, I think, a good direction. I'm not a fan of the aesthetic per se, but if it looks good in motion and if you can make it like animate well, I think you can sell it. This was about the world tour mode that they said. I wonder if it's going to be true single player though. Is my thing. I'm telling you, like, this is the kind of thing where like if they really wanted to like shake some shit up, some single player stuff, but then mix it in with like some co-op shit. But I guess that's all I care to show and talk about on stream. For the other stuff, you know, like I said before, I'm kind of skeptical now that it was a quote-unquote actual leak, just because of the shit I showed earlier. But from what I saw out of the cast and all the other stuff, to me, I think most of it's interesting. At least I can't say I'm repulsed. Is the thing. I can't say I'm repulsed. If anything, like I said, 3 days ago, I could not have told you I was really looking forward to Street Fighter 6. I was like, I want to see what they do with it, but can't say I'm super interested personally. Today, as of like when all this shit dropped, at minimum, I'm like, my interest is piqued. I'm curious. I'm intrigued. You know, I want to know more. So in that regard, like I said, whoever orchestrated the drops and shit like that, man, oops, I accidentally dropped the cast concept art in the IGN office or whatever. Give yourself a raise, man. It worked. You got me. I'll put it that way. I want to see more characters in motion. And I guess part of what the hype cycle for this game is going to be is now that everybody unofficially knows who's going to be in it. That's the other thing too, man. Looking at that roster, there's what, 22 characters, 23? Is that including DLC? Street Fighter V launched with 16 characters, right? 22 or 23 characters for base roster? If that's base roster, that's a lot. If that's base roster, that is that's a satisfying, I think, start for a cast for a Street Fighter game. That's not bad. But we'll see, you know. I'm interested to see more for sure. What about you guys? Was there anything that stood out or anything you thought was interesting? Thanks for coming through. But anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Everybody be easy.